No, I'm busy tonight, actually.
Hey, good Monday morning. Welcome to the Jerry Hotpants Club podcast. Jerry. With me, as always, is...
I'm Chris.
Back on buttons.
Spaghetti falafel. Eusafio.
Yes, sir.
And our special guest this evening to discuss some stuff is...
Jeremy.
What?
Hey, Jerry.
Jerry.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Can we real quick point out the fact that Yusuf tried to make the ESPN noise, which is, and he did.
What was it?
I don't want to talk to you guys
Do
anymore.
it, dude. Do it.
I think that's just
That's
the
James
news.
Bond, you fucking...
I don't know, man. Leave me alone.
Well, Jerry's always here to point out things about people that are embarrassing. That's why we call him Jerry. Okay, it is Monday morning, August 8th. It is National CBD Day. So if you're on that tip, good for you.
Sibida.
It's also
Sibida.
National Dollar Day.
All right.
Okay.
Does that even exist anymore?
No. National Frozen Custard Day. Hey-o.
Colors.
National Happiness Happens Day. Go fuck yourself. It is also, this is my favorite here, National Sneak Some Zucchini Into Your Neighbor's Porch Day.
I've heard of that one.
Is that a sexual euphemism?
No.
That sounds like it.
My kid and I did that one year. Yeah, we did it to my neighbors. We just left a zucchini on their porch.
Sneak Some Zucchini Into Your Neighbor's Porch Day on August 8th offers gardeners a way to rid themselves of extra produce. For some, this day offers a way to rid their garden of an overproducing squash plant. Did you know that zucchini was a fruit? Well, if you're a gardener, you know this fact already. And such and so forth, and go fuck yourself, Happiness
I
Day.
thought zucchini was just something that females obnoxiously plant.
I had some zucchini.
You are something that has been obnoxiously planted into my life.
Yeah, but
What's your take, Jeremy?
All I can think about is Chris, for whatever reason, hiding zucchini in his ass, taking it and dropping it off on somebody's porch. I'm not gonna lie, it's all I can think about.
I was holding it like this. Like,
He cradled it.
baby.
Don't drop that shit. Don't drop that shit.
Boof that key.
pray God you don't drop that shit.
Oh, that's got some yellow crumbs. Okay.
Hey.
So I'm going to start off really quick by saying go fuck yourself, Andrew Tate. Now, we're here to talk about...
You know, I've rethought my position on Andrew Tate. I am now an Andrew Tate super fan.
Of course you are. Of course you are.
Welcome, brother. Welcome.
Of course you are. You know, if they cut you open and you bleed, it'd be Axe body spray. So,
Join us, Peter.
no.
It's lovely here.
Yeah. You know what resides...
better over
Water
here.
You
is
know what
warm.
resides in that realm? Male douche. So we're here to talk about...
That's zucchini.
Douchey zucchini prime. Okay. Jerry.
Yeah.
Jerry! Yeah. Jerry! So, we're here to talk about Bessa Bob and Very, Very Good to Me and Pete Rose. Pete Rose. Contentious cocksucker.
Rose.
Pete Rose.
Charlie Hustle.
Yes.
Charlie Hustle.
He was a badass ball player, was he not?
Phenomenal.
Hit King.
Hit king.
Still is. Still has a bunch of records that have not
It
been
will
broken.
never be broken, by the
No,
way.
no, because how long was he in the league again?
23 years, I believe, Pete Rose played baseball for him.
And what was his average that whole time?
303, I believe.
When was this guy's era?
Late 60s to...
Late 60s?
Mid 80s.
Were they
mid to late
steroiding
80s.
at the time?
Before
No,
steroid.
this is before
Okay.
steroids. Yeah.
Yep.
And let's also not forget that when his career came to an end, he was also a manager at the time.
Yep.
So he came under fire toward the end of his career and eventually caught himself a lifetime ban from the sport and from induction into the Hall of Fame because he was gambling on his team. A big no-no in the sport of baseball.
He was betting. Was he?
He was either now he claims he never bet against his team,
Right.
which they can't repudiate whether he did or he didn't.
Correct.
Now the guy Dowd, I think was his name, who uncovered all of this stuff. He couldn't say so either. You know, just the thought though that you as a manager can really control the outcome of a game. If you're, let's say, you're betting the bookie, okay, the Reds are going to lose today. So if they're going to lose, As a manager and you need to cop some losses, you could easily go in there and fuck that game right up. And nobody'd be the wiser because you're the magnificent Pete Rose. You know what you're doing. They wouldn't have hired the guy if he didn't know what he was doing. That is why he caught himself a lifetime ban. And so over the last 15, 20 years, there's been a lot of talk about like, okay, it's been enough time. Enough time has passed. Let's rethink this lifetime ban. Let's reinstate him. Let's get him into the Hall of Fame. And there's, a lot of people on both sides. The reason that he's trending right now is because over the weekend they had Philadelphia had their or Cincinnati. Was it Philly or Cincy? Where did he end his career? I can't remember.
Ended his career in Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
He started in Cincy. I think he was in Cincinnati for 15 years. Went to Philly for 4 or 5, and then he ended up coming back to Cincy to end his career, if I remember correctly. You might want to look that up real quick.
Well, I'm not going to look that up, but we're going to look up good old Pete Rose.
Something about American sports is the Vegas and betting on sports is kind of what makes sports in America. Even if you're not betting on sports and you're a diehard fan, betting on sports drives a lot of sporting action. And, if it were me and I were going to cheat in a sporting event, a professional sport probably wouldn't be the smartest place. You'd probably want to go with a college sport or a one-on-one sport like boxing, where you just have to have one guy take a fall. That's probably the way to make your money if you're trying to do it. But, man, doing it on a professional level with all the cameras and people watching,
especially
that takes
now.
some nuts, man.
Yeah. It was in Philadelphia. They were inducting Pete Rose into their personal Hall of Fame. Yeah. So they had him back to the ballpark. They had him on the field. And a reporter asked him about a statutory rape allegation from Misconduct in the 1970s. And his response was, "No, I'm not here to talk about that. Sorry about that. It was 55 years ago, babe." He might have, that's classic Pete Rose. He might have been, it might have fucking washed all the way over if he wouldn't have fucking bookended it with babe, because that gives the woke mob all the shit that they need to be like, this misogynistic son of a bitch. And, he probably is. He's old school. He's old school, get her done kind of guy, right? If he would have just said no comment, they probably would have let it wash. Now, they were going to do this back in 2017, and somebody brought up the misconduct charges. Now, what happened was this girl was like 14 or 15 at the time. In the state of Ohio at that time, the legal age of consent was 16. He thought she was 16, and he didn't think anything about it, right? Fast forward to now, and it's coming up 55 years later. Mm-hmm. And so it kind of casts a little bit of a shadow for people who, are... I really don't know how to feel about it. I don't really care. I do think that as much of a turd he might be, I really need to look at, for me personally, I'm looking at the whether or not he fixed games. And I really think that needs to be highly investigated before any consideration needs to be given as to whether or not he can get into the Hall of Fame.
I like this guy.
I can't say I don't. And that's hard. That's hard. It really is. Because his name's Pete.
If he did all this shit, bro, this guy's a G.
Oh, he did it.
He did it. That's what's up.
He did it.
He admitted it. He finally admitted it in like the mid-2000s because he was steadfastly saying, no, it never happened. But he finally, I think he wrote a book.
You know why he admitted it? Because he wrote that book.
Yeah, and he wanted to sell books.
He needed to sell it.
Yeah, huh?
So he admitted it. He sold a shit ton of copies.
Yeah, and he did it right around the time of the Hall of Fame. So, induction ceremony. So he was trying to petition the commissioner at the time to be like, gee whiz, will you let me back in? And they basically told him to get, to kick rocks.
Guys, let me give you some stats on Pete Rose, since we're talking about Pete Rose. And then we can get it on to all the controversy stuff. Okay?
All right.
Pete Rose played from 1963 to 1986. 23 years. Okay?
That's
career batting average of 303. Now, if you play 23 years in the league, he's well playing into his 40s. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he was that age and still averaged over 300 is impressive. Mm-hmm. 4,256 hits. 160 home runs. He wasn't a home run hitter. 1,314 RBIs. But the big thing that sticks out there is 4,256 hits.
Mm-hmm.
4,000 hits in the major leagues.
He's still number one before the steroid era and now.
Yeah, it's commonly thought that hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in sports because most of the great hitters, Pete Rose being one of them, hits 303. So that means 70% of the time he went up there, he did not get a hit. 30% of the time he got a hit.
Dude, that's one reason I love the sport of baseball, because you can fail 70% of the time and you are considered very successful.
Yeah.
I love that about that.
But if you fail 80% of the time, you are trash.
Well, that's the truth.
Or
because
you're
then
a Detroit Tiger.
They call that the Mendoza line. You know, it's bad. You don't want to get to that.
200 to 300. 200 is terrible. 300 is Hall of Fame.
So then let me ask you this: is it about was he this phenomenal of a player? Or did he somehow get? I mean, how many at bats did this guy get? Right,
guys. Let me just to put Pete Rose's hits into perspective. Okay, Pete Rose played 24 years, according to this, 4,256 hits. Ty Cobb. Now, if you know anything about baseball, you know who Ty Cobb is. He's probably the best Tiger that ever played the game.
Yep.
Ty Cobb played for 24 years, 4,189 hits. Now, Hank Aaron is the next on the list at 3,700. Hank played for 23 years. There's only about Miguel Cabrera just joined the 3,000 hit club, and there's only about 20 of them that have hit 3,000. And Pete Rose hit 4,256.
Yeah. You got to play a long time, be really good a long time.
You've got to be very productive for a very long time to get anywhere close to that.
And not get hurt, have any, major injuries where you're fighting this or fighting that. Yeah. It's
Damn, and like that was the era where they were still just like fucking drinking and smoking cigars and cigarettes while they're like
chewing.
Yeah,
while they're playing.
Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah. Pete Rose is the most competitive human being I've ever seen in my entire life. And I know this is if Pete Rose, in baseball, they got rid of the rule these days where the catcher can't block the plate. So essentially the catcher can't get hit when trying to take somebody out at home. That just came into effect within the last 5 years, whatever it's been. Pete Rose in an all-star game that meant nothing completely blew out the catcher who tried to block the plate when he was trying to score in an all-star game that literally meant nothing. The rest of them guys are there for fun. Pete Rose is putting his shoulder down and blowing this guy's doors off.
It's a really famous play.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
The guy played 110% all the time. All the time. One of my favorite players to go back and watch clips of. Pete Rose.
Are we interrupting something, Yusuf?
No, my alarm was going off.
Oh.
Was it the...
No, it's time to pray.
Do you need to leave us?
No.
Do you want us to pray for you?
I will speak to the Lord in a little bit.
Okay.
There you go.
I got you, Lord. Shortly. I'll be there. Where to your mother?
Did you say Lord or Lloyd?
Lord.
Who's Lloyd? Okay. So
Lloyd Christmas.
Lloyd Christmas.
Okay. So, baseball is probably the most, not easygoing, but it's not a hype sport. You know what I mean? They are not pouring so much into every single fucking play. There's a lot of just like, it's not that it's not tense. And I'm not saying that anybody can play baseball. But, man, they chill the fuck out unless you get hit by a pitch. And I love seeing that shit. I love seeing bench clearing brawls because I love that kind of stuff. But
I mean, the pitcher's amped up the whole game.
Yes.
The pitcher is working. And also, it's a funny game because the defense is in control of the ball. And then the pitcher has to, you get a starter, right? And your starter's going to go out there and he's going to have, what kind of stuff does he have today? And, they got a whole scouting report. And they've... But it's like a mental thing. Like what yogis say? It's like half mental, half physical, and the other half is some weird yoga bear quote that's funny. It equals more than 100%. But it's a mental game, and you got to keep that in check.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The whole time you're swinging the bat hard, you're throwing the ball hard, but you got to stay cool, calm, and collected. You can't lose your head. It's a mental game.
Yeah, like not many times do you see like, you know, how many times have you been watching a basketball game and it just gets a little out of control, and some elbows get put in somebody's face. I mean, not anymore because they play like fucking pussies, but like, how many times did you see old school Bill Lambier?
Ooh,
you know,
brutal.
just fucking beating the brakes off of somebody. And they didn't call nothing. It was a hype sport. It's 48 minutes. You're just moving your ass back and forth. Same with football. You're just moving your ass back and forth. And just as with any other sport, you know, there's no time. There's no time limit on baseball. You know, they'll fucking go all goddamn day. And that's what I love. The beauty of that sport is like there's just this slow burn to it. I hate watching it on television, but I love being at a ball game.
Yeah, I
absolutely love being at a ball game.
I just went to a game over the weekend, and I always say going to baseball games are great because like you can get up and go to the bathroom and like not really
miss a fucking
much.
thing. Yeah,
but like at a football or basketball game, you're like, all right, am I going to go at halftime with the crowd, or am I going to wait for them to come back and then run out in the third period? You know what I mean? Like it's. And it's loud, and you're trying to figure out when you can go. And I don't know, baseball, you can get up and walk around the stadium, go see the statues and shit, take pictures, check it from this angle, check it, go look at it from this outfield spot. You know what I mean? Like you can, like I walked around Comerica, and you can see it from the outfield and look at it from different areas and stuff. It's cool.
Ballparks are so much better to go to for a professional game experience. You know what I mean? Like you can walk around a ball field and you can check out their Hall of Fame team. It's so much different than going to a basketball game or a football game. Baseball really, something that baseball does better than any other sport is they glorify their past players. And what I mean, like monuments and induction ceremonies. Did you see what they did for Lou Whitaker the other day?
Yeah, they were interviewing him the day I was there, but then they had the 84 trophy there, and then the next day was the actual day.
You go to a basketball game and you show up, and before the game starts, if they retire somebody's jersey, it takes 10 minutes. The game is moved on. Like the Lou Whitaker induction ceremony started at least an hour before the game, and all his old teammates, Trammell and Morris, and them guys came up and actually told stories about Lou Whitaker and the history of the game. Baseball is really serious, and this is one reason why Pete Rose is not in the Hall of Fame, by the way, because baseball, more than any other sport, respects their history.
Yes,
they do, and it's a different basketball and football, and do not have that. Where baseball, they constantly go. They talk about the integrity of the game.
Don't they believe in a lot of superstition?
Dude,
baseball versus the other.
Have you ever
sports?
seen the batters go up to bat and the majority of these guys got their batting gloves on and they're flipping, flicking their on and off. Like go back and watch some clips of Nomar Garciaparra's pre-bat ritual. It's insane.
They wanted to institute time limits because of that.
Seriously. Like, it's a very superstitious game.
They have in the minors, I think.
Fuck you, Jobu. I'll do it myself. Anybody know that reference?
Yeah, that was off of Major Leagues.
Yes.
Yeah.
They told him he wanted to sacrifice a whole chicken, so they brought him a bucket of KFC. Okay, so, and that kind of brings me to my point, right? Like, so we have this integrity that baseball has stood on. What team? It was the White Sox, remember?
Black Sox.
The Black Sox. Yep. Okay, so there were 11 of them, correct?
11 of them.
And what is their moniker?
Including shoeless Joe Jackson.
Yeah.
One of the best to ever play.
Yeah, he was one of the best ever, and they're not in the Hall of Fame, correct?
No.
Yep.
No.
I mean, that's been over 100 years.
It's getting close.
Yeah.
1911, does that sound right?
Yeah, 1911.
Something like
1911. So it's been 111 years.
Maybe 101. 1911, 1921. I don't remember.
Wow.
And they have not.
But, okay, so them guys, their circumstance was a little bit different. Now we're talking about Pete Rose and did he bet on his own team, that kind of thing. This team intentionally threw the World Series.
1919. It was 1919.
So we're over 100 years on that. So what the White Sox did, they were kind of named the Black Sox. But anyway, they took some money from a known mobster to tank the World Series, and they got caught doing it. So the players made money. They got paid by the mob to tank the series, but they got caught doing it, and they all got banned for life.
Despite acquittals in a public trial in 1921, Judge Landis. Now, it says here that The Black Sox was a major league baseball game fixing scandal in which 8 members of the Chicago White Sox were accused of throwing the 1919 World Series against the Cincinnati Reds in exchange for money from a gambling syndicate led by Arnold Rothstein. As a response,
in other words, the mob.
The National Baseball Commission was dissolved, and Judge Kennesaw Mountain Landis was appointed the first commissioner of baseball and given absolute control over the sport to restore its integrity. The punishment was eventually, despite acquittals in a public trial, Judge Landis permanently banned all 8 men from professional baseball. The punishment was eventually defined by the Baseball Hall of Fame to include banishment from consideration for the Hall, despite requests for reinstatement in the decades that followed, particularly in the case of shoeless Joe Jackson. The ban remained. So here we are 102 years later, and they still aren't going to get in. If they're not going to get in, because, I mean, if we dive into it, I'm sure you'll find, like, threats, but it's essentially the same thing. Gambling on the outcome of a game involving your team is going to lead you from exclusion.
I think that what you're talking on was, are you guys familiar with the show Boardwalk Empire?
Yeah.
I think that took place on the show Boardwalk Empire.
I only watched the first couple seasons. It was really good.
Hell yeah.
Steve Buscemi was in that.
Oh, my God.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Yep, that was a good one.
Didn't some dude in the NFL just get, like, he bet, like, $1,500 on, like, fantasy or something, and they caught him, and then he lost, like, his contract.
You just can't bet, period, in sports, can
He
you?
lost, like, $20 million or something like that. On a $1,500 bet, just being dumb or something. He posted it on social media.
Yeah,
his
like fucking
fantasy
idiot
thing or something.
See,
Who was that, by the way?
I forget.
Here's the thing, right? Like, that shows the integrity of baseball, because I love Michael Jordan to death. I think he's the greatest player in that sport.
He was.
Hands down.
Yep.
LeBron is a sack of shit.
Yep.
He's only as good as the team that he has.
Yep.
He does not elevate his team. He's a toupee-wearing piece of shit. Now, if we take one solid look at Michael Jordan's career, he quits after the 93 season.
Calvin Ridley.
Yeah. Then, I think I've heard.
Falcons, right?
So he quits after the 93 season and has to take time off and supposedly go play baseball, right? He's gone for a season and a half, I think it was, and then comes back, sets the all-time single-season record with a championship. He after 1-3.
Why did he take that break?
Because I think he got caught gambling. And he was such an essential part of not just basketball, but the worldwide fucking economy, from Fruit of the Loom to batteries to you name it. If he gets tarnished, so many motherfuckers are going to lose money.
And it's well known that Michael Jordan is a gambling
freak,
addict.
Yeah. Oh,
really?
Oh, yeah. On anything. He'll go golfing with people
Allen
and just
Iverson.
bet on every shot. Yeah, it's a well-known thing.
Iverson is banned from the casinos in Detroit.
Well, he's Allen Iverson. He chokes people. But doesn't get his way.
Yeah.
Just like, I'm going to choke a bitch.
What do you think?
Wow.
That was the Charles Sprewell, wasn't it?
There's a lot of gambling. Like Charles Barkley famously is a huge gambler.
He'll talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Barkley don't care. He'll tell you.
I think he's down like 30 mil or something, but he talks about, I got it, I can spend it.
But that's the thing. So baseball takes their golden child, which is Pete Rose, and they tell him to kick rocks, right? They tell him, you fucked off. That's what you did. Jordan got caught gambling. Now, if he gambled on everything but basketball, they can't really do shit about that. But if he's gambling against his own team or other teams in the league while he's an active player, that's a huge no-no. But David Stern stops dead in his tracks, and he goes, Mike, you got to walk away for a little while. This is what people have been saying. Mike, you got to walk away for a little while. You got to take some time off, because I'll tell you what, we can't have you running around without some sort of punishment. And to a guy like Jordan with that giant fucking ego, not being able to have championships for those 2 years in the prime of his life, because it was. You can't say it wasn't, because he came back and won 3 more fucking titles after that.
Absolutely was his prime.
So to just walk away at the prime of your career, that motherfucker could have had 8 titles. He could have had 8 consecutive titles, but instead he fucks off to go play baseball for a little while.
Which he was terrible at.
Absolutely.
I always wondered about that.
Terrible.
Like, what the fuck is going on?
That's the rumor.
His dad was murdered on the side of the road.
Yep.
Right? I think it was at the end of that third championship run. It was in that summertime, wasn't it?
That I don't remember off the top of my head.
It was in there somewhere.
I remember when it happened.
Yeah.
And I remember like him playing well.
If I'm not mistaken, the last championship they got in the first three-peat was against Phoenix. And it was real short-lived for him because he found out shortly thereafter that his dad died or whatever. Because it was like around Father's Day or something. And anyway, so, he could have, and he grieved his father, sure. And he still grieves his father to this day. I'll never doubt or say anything about that. But that guy was so fucking competitive that he would have dedicated. I mean, the next time he came back and won a championship, he gave it to his dad. He dedicated it to his father, So he would have just he would have kept going. He would have kept going and going and going and going. But I need to take some time off, or I'm done. I'm going to leave while I'm on top. He still had heights to get to. He wasn't on top yet. He is now, and he forever will be. And if you're one of them fucking cucks that says LeBron is better than fucking Jordan, can I put my address out there yet?
No. I have to, motherfucker. I gotta edit that shit out.
I know. I saw it get bleeped too.
You cocksucker! I gotta make sure you stay alive, bitch. I gotta keep this motherfucker alive, bro.
Okay. So I live in a city somewhere, and I have a house in that city, so you should come see me there if you disagree. Anyway.
DM me on the side. I may let you have the address.
Oh.
For a fee.
For a fee, baby.
Yeah, and Jerry's fee is dick pics.
Hey. There it is. Jackpot.
Okay, so, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Do you think Pete should be in the Hall of Fame?
I think Pete Rose not being in the Hall of Fame is the biggest travesty in sports. And can I tell you why I think that?
Yeah.
And we can go from there.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, first of all, guys in the Hall of Fame, you've got guys that have murdered people in the Hall of Fame. You've got known steroid users in the Hall of Fame. Okay. Pete Rose bet on baseball. Today, gambling is legal, correct? Sports gambling?
Yeah.
Is legal, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Michigan.
Okay.
Right? You can bet on the website.
Absolutely.
You can get drunk and bet your life savings.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can. Absolutely can. Pete Rose, to me, has paid his penance. He absolutely. It's never been a fact if he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
He's been a hitting coach recently, right?
No, he's banned from.
I thought he was a hitting coach.
No,
like
dude. When
something
they
not
ban you
affiliated with
for
the
life,
league.
he had to get special permission to show up to the Philly Stadium.
Yep.
So Major League Baseball has to give him permission, or he can't even walk into a Major League Stadium. So when they banned you, they cut you off
Forever.
everything. Now the sad thing about Pete Rose is, if you do some history on him, there was a baseball commissioner. So when Pete Rose, when he got handed down the lifetime ban, the next commissioner to come in, they had a sit-down meeting, and supposedly they were going to lift the ban, and the commissioner suddenly died out of nowhere. And I cannot remember the name of that commissioner.
Can I ask a question real quick? When is there some kind of retirement fund in baseball? Or are you just whatever you made is what you take and that's it?
I have no idea. I doubt there's a retirement.
I don't think so either.
No.
I don't know how that works.
That's why I was just asking in
be.
regards to like the ban. That's why I was asking.
I don't know. You look up, it'll be up to the players' union.
I mean, yeah.
If the union has something for guys that didn't make much money, maybe.
Okay.
But I don't know.
But here's my philosophy on Rose, is they will let him in, but he's going to be dead first. And that, to me, is a travesty in itself. Pete Rose belongs in the Hall of Fame.
You think he'll get in once he's dead?
I do.
I mean, and does he need to get into the Hall?
From listening,
we're still talking about the Black Sox, and they don't need to be in the Hall for us to
Dude,
talk
they've all
about
been
them.
dead for 80 years.
They're more famous because of what they did than if they hadn't done it. I wouldn't
Chris,
even know who
if
they
you
were.
played baseball for 24 years,
Yep.
and you were the best hitter to ever play the game, and you have the most hits out of anybody,
Yeah.
the Hall of Fame has to mean everything to you at that point. It would me.
I guess. I don't know.
You know?
I mean,
Like, I would want that to
a bunch of sports reporters have to
validate my
report.
career.
You're right. A bunch of sports reporters voting to tell me that I got more hits than everybody. Like, fuck you guys.
But
I guess that
It's
would
anybody.
cast a shadow, especially like on your family. If people brought it up, like if
Guys,
you're,
it means something. Look, if you ever watched a Hall of Fame induction, guys are up there crying, talking about their careers. It means something.
Okay.
They didn't strike his like stats from the records. Like it somewhere it says he's the
Yeah. On August 24th, 1989, Rose voluntarily accepted a permanent place on baseball's ineligible list. Rose accepted that there was a factual reason for the ban. In return, Major League Baseball agreed to make no formal finding with regard to the gambling allegations. According to baseball's rules, Rose could apply for reinstatement in 1 year, but Bart Giamatti said there is absolutely no deal for reinstatement. That is exactly what we did not agree to in terms of a fixed number of years. Rose, with a 412 to 373 record, was replaced by Reds manager Tommy Helms. Rose began therapy with a psychiatrist for treatment of a gambling addiction. Giamatti died of a heart attack on September 1st, 1989, 8 days after announcing his suspension. So Giamatti never said that they were going to sit down and have that discussion. Right before the end, he said, what the big thing was, Pete Rose didn't understand at the time that there was going to be, that the ban included being included into the Hall of Fame. He didn't.
That does not sound right to me, dude. I could have swore I've read articles.
No, after that, like C-League and all these guys that came after, they all said that, well, we'll sit down and we'll have a talk with you, and then they never did anything about it. He's met with every commissioner since, and they've all said, okay, we'll look into it, and they don't do anything.
Yeah.
They don't do anything. And it's simply because it comes back to the integrity of the game. He'll probably get in when he's dead, sure. And I honestly, in my humble opinion, I feel that that's fitting. I believe that he needs to be recognized for his contribution to the sport. But like all these fucking chumps who are in there, like Barry Bonds.
Bonds ain't in the Hall of Fame. He'll never get in.
He's not in.
Who? So he was the hitting coach.
The current steroid users aren't in. The ones, so they like the Clemens, the Bonds, the McGuires, the Sosas. Them guys are not in. And Roger Clemens just went through his final, because when you
year of eligibility
for the Hall of Fame, and we can go out. Can we discuss the steroid thing since we're looking at all this stuff?
Absolutely.
Okay.
yeah.
So at the time, steroids. Okay, this sounds crazy, but steroids saved the game of baseball. Okay. Do you guys remember the '94 strike season?
Absolutely do. I thought the game was done.
It was done, Pete. That was the thing. It was done. People, even after they reinstated the game and got a contract worked out, people were not coming to the ballpark.
Because they were pissed off about the greed.
Absolutely. Yeah. The players looked terrible in it. The players' union looked terrible. Anyway, nobody was coming out. The owners looked, it was a bad look, and they weren't coming out. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, steroids came. And Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa had that. It was 97 or 98 when they had their run. And they both ended up breaking Roger Maris's record of 61 home runs. Yeah. And people were glued. They couldn't turn away.
I was
couldn't
too.
turn away.
That's when I came back to baseball.
Oh, yes. Yeah. ESPN would cut in when they were batting.
Yep. Yes. Every time. Yeah.
And the thing I struggle with is these steroid users and stuff. Like and I'm one that believes them guys should be in the Hall. Because at the time, steroids were not illegal in baseball. Okay. So were these guys using human growth hormones and steroids to get bigger? Absolutely. But it wasn't illegal at the time. Now, I can see once they, banned it, if you get caught after that, it's one thing. But these guys saved baseball, and then they shunned them. And I think that's a terrible thing. That's my own personal opinion.
When Bonds was doing his thing, you couldn't pitch to him. You had to walk him. If you threw him something he could reach with the bat, it would go over the fence. It was wild.
Yeah.
He stood there. It looked like he had a tiny bat. He was so big. Yeah. And he would just, anything that came near the zone, he would just crush. It was wild. You had to walk him. Like, you couldn't pitch to him at all.
The thing was, it was so obvious, too. Like, you look at Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds was probably a Hall of Famer before he got to San Francisco, in Pittsburgh. Okay. And in Pittsburgh, he was a skinny, twig-looking dude who was a phenomenal baseball player. And then he gets to San Francisco. And he's older. The older he got, the bigger he got, dude. Yeah. Like, it was so obvious that something was going on there. His hat size grew like 6 sizes, dude.
Kind of like somebody we know.
That's that growth hormone dolphin head. Makes it bulbous. It's bulbous right there.
Yeah.
Bro, I went to San Francisco to a game a few years ago, and they were giving out like the door prize if you're there. and it was this is the stadium giving it out now. It's the Mount Rushmore of the Giants, and they put Bonds on it.
Yeah.
Get from the, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to get that from the Hall of Fame, but from the stadium, they gave it out. I was like, this is cool. It's got Bonds on it. I still got it. It's in my closet.
Somebody Google Barry Bonds and see how many home runs he's had, because he's still, it's like 74, something like that. Pete's on it. But just to give you an idea, now the Roger Maris 61 home runs in a season stood for like 50 years. And then these roid guys came along and they just crushed it, dude. I think it was 74.
Yeah, I want to say it was 74 too. Yeah, man. I don't know much about steroids, but I know about athletics.
Bullshit.
Steroids are illegal. Steroids are illegal. I have all my hair. Steroids are illegal for a reason. It's because they work. That's why they're illegal. It's because they fucking work. And you can become a much better athlete. You still got to hit the ball, though, man. Yeah, it's tough to hit the ball, but
dude, it's not going to increase.
So what did you want to know, Jeremy?
How many home runs Bonds had?
Most home runs in a single season, 73, set in 2001. Most career walks. Bonds led the Major League Baseball in on-base plus slugging 6 times and placed within the top 5 hitters in 12 of 17 qualifying seasons. For his defensive play in the outfield, he won 8 Gold Glove awards. Yep. He also stole 514 bases, becoming the first and only Major League Baseball player to date with at least 500 home runs and 500 stolen bases.
Pete, how many home runs did Bonds have in his career?
In his career?
It was like
762.
Yeah, it's insane. And back to the steroids thing, like, steroids obviously makes you bigger and stronger. You're going to hit the ball farther, but it's not going to help, like, your hand-eye coordination. Like, you still got to be able to hit the ball. But Barry Bonds is one of the best players ever.
It should let you bring the bat around faster.
Yeah.
It should be you should be quicker you should be a better athlete. Like, you should be better at athletics.
Speaking of steroids, we've got to take a pause for just a moment to give a shout-out to our endorsers. Naked Chris Creatine craves creatine. It is getting you jacked. We also are brought to you today by Just for Duty Bro hair color. You want to get blonde and look like a douche, get Just for Duty Bro. And also Jerry Hotpants coffee. It'll get your pants hot and it'll get you jerked up.
Damn it.
Did you write that? Did you?
He's a sick man, dude.
On the fly?
Yeah, well, I came up with the promos on the fly, but do you want to see the pictures? You'll have to watch tomorrow.
All right.
You ought to be running them right about now. Now, as far as steroids are concerned, right, as people that kind of walk the way of life that we walk, we encounter individuals who use
a little bit
steroids. I'm not looking at you.
You definitely thought of it. I mean, shit.
Do you remember when fucking UFC let guys use TRT?
Oh, it was.
And guys were testing. Guys were testing like 10,000. You should test like under 1,000 to be like normal. They were testing like 10,000. They were like, shit, I don't know what happened.
I'll never forget.
Too much today.
I'm a Greek god. Like, what the fuck?
I'll never forget Vitor Belfort. Vitor was one of them guys that used the TRT.
Yeah.
That's the motherfucker that was kicking people's heads off?
One of them. He was really good. Okay. Now, when they banned it, he fought. And I like to watch the weigh-ins. You know? And when he was on TRT, he was huge. He was shredded. This guy, when they banned it and he was off it, he looked like me or Pete.
That's a big difference.
Yeah, there is a big difference.
But I'm serious. Like, it does something to the body without. You can't question that. You know?
Yeah, that's why it's banned in professional sports because it works.
I know the human growth hormone was meant to get big, but steroids in baseball started out, guys were using it to heal.
Yeah,
because they would get hurt, and the testosterone would help.
Like they were doing amphetamine, then they have bowls of Adderall and shit.
Yeah,
remember that was another thing too during steroid.
Remember Lance Armstrong, right?
Oh, he was
blood doping
and doing steroids.
Yeah. But look, you're talking about because it works, right? That guy like got more out of each individual breath than any other human on the fucking planet, right?
True.
Yeah.
He got his nut cut off, or both of them, maybe.
I think it's just one.
Was it just one? Okay, so but he's down a nut, right? So that drops him an octave or whatever you call it, and he's fucking.
I blame Sheryl Crow for that.
What? You can do lots of different things with steroids. They don't just have to make you bigger. I mean,
we reached that point, Jeremy.
What's that?
You're fired. You are fucking fired.
I've been waiting for it.
Thank God. We got through all 12, and guess what? I don't fucking need you anymore. So, this just in. Pete fell off a roof and landed on a church fence, and now he's got a hot poker shoved up his ass. Film at 11. So, Christopher, do you think they should allow Pete into the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I mean, Pete should get in, and all the steroids guys should get in. It's baseball, and you got the sports reporters voting on it, and they're old, and they're all stuck in their ways, and they don't like these new rules. And the one thing about baseball is the rules have been the same for so long that you can compare today's game to the old game for the most part, where like you can't really do that in basketball and football, like just how they didn't used to throw the ball, you know what I'm saying, in football. And then in basketball, there was no three-point line. You know what I'm saying? So the game's changed like so much. It's hard to compare. And baseball goes back to, you know, on a Tuesday afternoon after day game after a night game or some shit.
Yeah.
But these boys, they got all these statistics they can pull. They just don't like to see any new shit happen. So maybe once the sports reporters start dying off and we get a new batch in there, maybe they'll like retro. And
you're talking about think about the difference between when go back to when they first started having night games, right?
Yeah.
And everybody lost their shit about that because like I can't play with the fucking lights in my eyes. I can't do that. You can't play ball at night. People can't be out on the streets that late, you know. And now they play night game. Now the World Series is at night.
We're still talking about Pete Rose and saying he's the hit king. And if you look in like the Almanac or Guinness World Records or something like that, and you look at perfect games, Galarraga's in there with an asterisk. If you look in there, it got Galarraga in the bottom with an asterisk. Like, he threw a perfect game, they fucked it up.
Yeah, they did.
Did you see where a group of college kids got together and tried to have that overturned?
Yeah, no, that'd be cool.
And it failed. Yeah.
Yeah, probably because of sports betting. There were bets made, something to do. There was bets made at some point somewhere in Vegas and Reno and shit, and then you can't go back and do anything about it.
So asterisk is bad, huh?
An asterisk means that there's an addendum to it. There's an extra thing about it.
That little fucking symbol there is just a tarnishing fucking thing, huh?
They had talked about putting all the steroid guys in with asterisks. Was the talk a long time ago, but
and I agree. And
how are you going to tell who was and who wasn't? Just say this whole era was.
Dude, if your Hall of Fame credential is up in the air, they would have dudes coming out of the woodwork. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we'll let you in if you admit you use steroids. They'd be jumping on a plane to go talk to somebody.
Yeah. And again, it'd be the same if Pete would say certain things definitively. I think that he would get in. Like, you know, I bet my team would win every time. If he would I think if he relented and said that, and he said he never bet on his team, but if he would relent, and I don't think, at least, but if he would say, hey, gang, I did bet on my team, but I bet on my team to win every time. If he just said that little line, I think that would go a long way in helping him get in.
I think this needs to be said, too. Part of the reason, well, I don't know if it's part of the reason or not, but Pete Rose is not a good human being.
No, he's not. He's a fucking turd.
Yeah.
He is a turd.
So he works against himself in a lot of ways. You know, just because he's a savage. I don't know. He's not the best human being in the world.
But
I like him so much.
Yeah, I fucking knew it, you know.
You're like, ooh, greasy. I'm attracted to this.
Sounds like a big dick fucking motherfucker.
Hang out with him and Andrew Tate if I could at the same time.
Yeah, he like Andrew Tate, only has a big dick because he paid for it. Fucking dick extension, motherfucker.
I've seen him, man. He does what show's he on right now? He does a talk show for baseball, and he's good, man. You hear him,
Fox? Yeah,
you hear him talk about hitting. Man, I know he knows what he's talking about, but then when I watch him talk about it, I'm like, he's talking about moving around in the box and all this shit, and like how to get the pit. Dude, I was like, wow, that was really fucking informative.
Like some people are born with the sport hardwired into their brain, and Pete Rose was that.
He can. You ever heard it said, if you can't explain something simply, you don't know it well enough. He can, and that's one thing about baseball is guys, they got like those one-liners that you're like, oh, that makes sense. You know what I mean? And he can do that shit just off the cuff while he's doing his show. He knows how to hit a baseball.
And see, they're not going to let him in an arena, but I mean, I think it'd be stupid of the sport to not find a way to utilize him. Honestly. And even if it is controversial what he says, yeah, he's a fucking scumbag, whatever, but you want to know what? This country kind of embraces the scumbag. You know, we elected one in 2016.
People love us.
We elected one in 2020. People like you.
We elected a corpse in 2020.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. You know, but the thing is,
Weekend
like,
at Joe's.
if we, you got to put that picture up later.
That Bernie ass motherfucker for real though.
I will send you a picture and you'll have to put that up. But you know, like, we root for these guys because honestly,
Anti-hero stuff.
yeah, like middle America, angry men shit, right? Who sit on bar stools and just bitch about everything. Pete Rose has been doing that into a microphone since long before it was fashionable, right? Yeah. I mean, that guy can't shut the fuck up. And because he can't shut the fuck up, it makes people not like him.
Does he do it with with like a cup of scotch? Just sits there and just slowly gets drunk throughout the game, talking shit. His shit gets worse. Like,
I mean, he's been probably divorced about 30 fucking times too.
Boy, I mean, like
not
him
that
even
big.
more.
Yeah, of course you do. Why do you always root for
I
the
don't
scumbag?
know.
Is it because you are?
I think so.
Are you a scumbag?
He's a little greasy.
Yeah,
he's a little greasy.
You're a shiesty motherfucker. You know that? Like, come on the show bitching that we don't come and pay your ransom or rescue you, but you're the one that got fucking scooped up in a fucking Costco parking lot.
He's always talking about whoring himself out for money if he can.
Yeah.
I need a PS5 and shit.
Yeah. I will do that, little
You
old
guys,
lady.
I got goals. I got plans. I got vision.
What do you...
I'm just saying, I'm not. I'll do it.
And don't point at time for me, motherfucker. What are you going like this about? You wanted to go on and on for an hour about Andrew Tate, so I'd have a fucking aneurysm live on the air, right? And that way you guys could go ass to mouth and fucking just watch me die here on
Human
camera.
centipede.
You never go ass to mouth.
No.
Yeah. Jerry.
Oh, I'm not saying that. Leave me
Yeah.
out
Okay.
of this.
Yeah, oh, no, but you're here. This podcast is named after you.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the
fucking Blue Jays shit on. I got this.
dude. We're talking about baseball. I'm rocking some baseballs.
I saw them
again.
whoop our ass earlier this year, dude. We didn't get a damn hit. I was sitting right first base line.
That lineup, top to bottom, is brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah, we saw Vlad hit one out.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Dude, baseball is great, man, because it lasts, they play 162 games.
Yeah.
They start, pitchers and catchers report in, like, what, March?
Well, a month before the season
Something like
starts.
that.
Yeah.
And then it goes until October. The World Series can go into the beginning of November, right? Can it go just past?
Yep.
So it lasts damn near all year. And, like, right now, the only thing on is baseball, right? The boys of summer. are playing right now.
Cornhole.
Cornhole
air
today.
Hockey.
Air hockey. I saw Ultimate Frisbee on TV today. There's
ESPN 8 the Ocho.
so I'm just saying it lasts like the length. It lasts like the length of the good weather. Like right when spring breaks, it starts to happen, and then it's like there's nothing else to do but baseball all through the summer, and then kind of when it starts to wrap up, you get the fall sports starting, back to school, football, hockey, soccer starts too, and then you get the kids going back to school, man, and then everybody.
Wait a minute. Go ahead.
Then everybody gets distracted, and then they do the fucking elections and sneak in the criminals into the fucking government. I'm telling you, man.
Shit.
Here we
Okay.
go.
I'm telling you, man. Right when the World Series is, and they got those November elections, man. It's a fucking. You got to watch. Everything gets hyped right around the World Series, man. That's when America takes off. Then you go into the holidays, bro, and you're talking about playoffs and family and all the holidays and shit.
Blink, motherfucker, blink.
Spending money. You got all those fucking, nachos and fucking wieners and fucking hamburgers and all these reasons to eat junk food, Halloween and Thanksgiving and shit, bro. I'm telling you, man. The America revolves around the World Series, bro. America revolves around the World Series.
I think we just got his first rant on air.
That was it.
That was good.
I had to say something over here.
That was really good.
I had to keep going. I can keep going if you want me to.
What now? You seem to be upset that he just glazed right over soccer.
Yeah, bro, you acted like
Soccer's a sport.
soccer was a pussy man's sport.
I mean, if it's
Dude, they blow people away in other countries.
Premier League is good, but if you watch, anyone who really, I have watched a lot of soccer for decades. Premier League's good, but if you go watch the other leagues, they fucking suck. Champions League's good, International's good, so like World Cup shit's good, and Premier League, English Premier League. That's
the
it.
English
those are
Premier League
those.
is where it's at because they whoop each other's asses over that shit. That
international
shit is life.
soccer and Premier League is different. It's just.
I think one of the most miserable memories I have in my life was a summertime. I was a teenager. It was still at my parents' house over on Jennison, and the house doesn't exist anymore. So try and look that up, you fucking cucks. Anyway, so I'm sitting in that house.
I'll take you to.
It's 100 degrees outside. The air conditioner
Or
was
PS5.
fucking broke. We had no cable, just a fucking antenna, and we were watching the World Cup.
Oh, yeah?
I have never
July.
been so bored and fucking miserable and just angry at God and all of existence. I'm watching these fucking Gallops go up and down the goddamn field without scoring a fucking thing for 3 fucking hours. And then when I say, Dad,
2 hours.
whatever, I'd say, Dad, I'm going to put on a movie. He's like, I'm watching this. But he's not. He's sleeping, right?
It's the ebb
I'd
and
go to put up on a
flow.
movie, and then he'd wake up. I'm watching that. The fuck you are, right? So I will always associate soccer with pure fucking misery, and it is a pussy sport. Do you know why? The rest of the world all loves it, but they're not American, right? And America ain't full of pussies, right? We don't like it over here because that's a pussy game.
Soccer can never be popular in America. It's a globalist plot. If it was ever popular in America,
There it is.
might break America. That's thank God for baseball.
I can get back behind that.
God
But if you-
loves baseball.
Yes.
God loves baseball.
Apple pie, fucking pussy, all that shit. Boy, America, let's go.
Dude, you know what I do? Like, I can't watch professional soccer, but I love to watch younger kids play soccer.
Yeah.
Like, I went to my buddy Brandon's.
Because of soccer
Yeah.
moms.
No.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm a happily married man. I don't look at soccer moms, but like I enjoy watching kids play soccer, but I can't
Yeah.
professionally watch it. I watch professional.
You enjoyed watching that?
The
I went to one of those games, and I
Yeah.
swear to God, I wanted to throw a fucking chair out there into the
Really?
field, bro.
what
Get
you're
with it, dude.
what they're you watch the ebb and flow. They're trying to get the back defenders to be out. So there's 4 defenders in the back. They're trying to get them to move around, right, like
Yeah.
side to side, and get their defense to break. You're really just watching the fast guys. It's just like hockey, where the fast guys are on the edges, and you try to get some big guys right in front. That's what you're trying to do. You want fast guys to bring the ball up, and then you give it to the big guys that are boxing for position down in front. That's all they're trying to do the whole
You want to
game.
know one thing
If
that
you
I
watch
love?
Premier League, you'll understand that. If you watch
Yeah.
any other or international, if you watch anything else, you'll Bundesliga or La Liga, all that shit is fucking trash. Yeah, all that shit's trash, dude. You got to watch Premier League or international soccer. Those are the only leagues that actually play good soccer. Everything else is fucking garbage.
Yeah, Premier League
All right.
and down on the other side of the border, they play amazing.
No, La Liga
effing
sucks,
soccer.
man. Mexican soccer, they're all 5'5", man. It sucks. It's terrible. You got to
Bro,
watch.
they're brutal.
Oh, they're like
Okay.
rowdy and shit.
Yeah.
El Tri. The name of the Mexican international team is El Tri.
Doesn't that mean
The tree?
Tree?
Oh, yeah.
Like, are you talking TREE?
I think so. El Tri. I think that might be the name of the stadium. I don't know. Don't quote me on that.
I can go to my grave with that information.
All right.
Just rest peacefully. Okay, so, Jeremy, we want to give you a big shout out and thanks for coming on your namesake program.
Thanks for having me, guys. Always a pleasure to exploit me for your gain.
What game?
Hey, thanks, man.
What games have we got? I just get people
Yeah,
arguing in the comments telling me to put the donut down. So
We need more of that.
I
No, on
know.
a serious note, thanks for having me, guys. I love doing this. I always enjoy it.
So here's the thing, right? You people at home need to do your fucking part. We're working on the website. If I get one more goddamn fucking message about it, I'm going to drive to where you work and tell them that you sell fucking drugs. So it's coming. So when it gets there, you need to be doing your part. Like, subscribe, share. Don't
Tell
just
your friends about us.
Yeah, don't come on here and tell me what I'm doing wrong all the time without fucking helping us out. The fuck is the matter with you? Fucking like, subscribe, share. Oh, fucking around. And Yusuf, I'm going to tell you this one more time. This is the last time I'm telling you this, okay? You need to tighten the fuck up. Because next time we got to come in and rescue you, right? I'm going to go ahead and admit this on the air right now. Who do you think it really was that came and got you?
My cousin Abdul
No.
playing one of those "It's Your Birthday"
No.
pranks.
Nope.
It's got to be those filthy fucking dolphin.
You know
creatures.
creepy fucking Frank? Well, it
show?
wasn't him. It was me. So you better tighten up because you get one free rescue. That's it. That's it. And I had to call him first. He told me no about 1,000 fucking times. So then I called Chris. He's like, yeah, do that shit, boy.
Boy.
All right. For you, Seth, Chris, Jerry motherfucking Hotpants, have a good Monday.
Dicks. All the
No, I'm busy tonight, actually.